here, but what a top film. But listen, I've got a top trick as well, using the Snow Queen, believe it or not. Just 3 cards. And all you've got to do is keep your eye on the Queen, who's always inside the middle, okay? Now watch it very closely. Look, as I turn the cards over, you know the Queen is here, but if I just give it a shake, hopefully it should disappear as quick as that. Look, let me show you again. Look, remember, 3 cards, the Queen is always inside the middle. But we turn the cards over one more time, and again, just a flick, she'll disappear like magic. But this time, if I put the card in backwards, and again turn it forwards, you'll see that there's a Queen on one side and a 2 on the other side. But again, like magic, she'll disappear. Now, some people think I use 2 cards. If I use 2, then of course the backs would look like that. If I use 3, it would look like that. If I use 4, it would look like that. But I do only use 3, and that's Christmas magic. There you go. We're back this afternoon on CITV with some top shows. Just take a look at some of these. Well, Paddington's auntie from Peru sent him some marmalade. You can find out later. We've also got some Animaniacs. And what will Helga buy Arnold? You can find out later that as well. But now we go downstairs with Danielle and some very special guests. It's over to you, Danielle.
Thanks, Stephen. Now it's time for our CITV Christmas Eve Choir and Steel Band. They're going to keep you singing right through until this afternoon. Take it away, guys.
Now here on CITV, there's a Christmas vibe in the ear. So everybody go and clear this year, CITV this year. Come on. Sing out. Come on. Well, let me know we call. Come on. What?
And if you ever saw it, you would even say it glow. All of the other reindeer
Sing out.
used to love to hold his name.
Yeah.
They wouldn't let Rudolph join in any reindeer game.
What?
There was foggy Christmas Eve, Santa came his sleigh. Rudolph, with your nose so fat, won't you start my crazy eye?
The 25th of December, every single year, it is a time to rejoice and throw your hands in the air. Everybody feeling happy, celebrating everywhere. There is a Christmas vibe in the atmosphere. See, ITV and all the crew, they're gonna be there with wonderful programs for the kids. Them coming up in the new year, like a Sunday Christmas special. That gentle little beer, forgotten ties. It's like nobody don't care. And the willows in winter will be there, so don't fear. But we sweet like an apple and we sweet like a pear. When we have come together, boy, you have to beware. It's at the cardinal, wise man, Stephen and Fire. And the shirt of sure shot, be a tick and them attack. Send me the non-stop now with the Christmas rap.
We wish you a Merry Christmas.
Come on.
We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Good tidings we bring
Sing out.
to you and your kids. We wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Stop. Christmas time, they say it come back again. Aye. Christmas time, they say it come back again. Aye. Christmas time, they say it come back again. Aye. From round the corner, Mr. Rumba, tell your friends why. Christmas time, they say it come back again. Aye. Christmas time, they say it come back again. Aye. Christmas time, they say it come back again. Aye. From round the corner, Mr. Rumba, tell your friends. CITV, as I would tell you, Cardinal Wiseman Band, Steel Band and Fire. Sure, that's so shocking the house on CITV, as I would tell you.
Now that was just so good, wasn't it?
Keep singing, guys.
Well, listen, it's nearly time to say goodbye.
Well, before we do, we will see you at 2 o'clock with Paddington.
Animaniacs,
Hey, Arnold.
and it's Christmas Eve.
Yay! See you then. Bye.
Boys, beware. The girls are here. Noel on ITV. Christmas Eve at 3 in the house with Cleopatra and friends. Christmas Day at 1:45, the Spice Girls live at Wembley. It's a girl power Christmas on ITV. It's Dad and Turkey. Ready for us?
Written biggest sale of three-piece suite starts Boxing Day, 10 a.m. at Uno. Now we're giving you up to 30% off previous prices. Hurry down to Uno at Leeds and Sheffield.
From DreamWorks Pictures, get ready for action. Prepare for adventure. The Prince of Egypt.
Did you know this about meningitis?
Someone with meningitis may have a rash caused by blood poisoning. An ordinary glass tumbler could save their life. Most rashes fade under the pressure of a glass tumbler, but in most cases the meningitis rash does not. So be alert for a rash, drowsiness, lapsing into unconsciousness and a fever. If you recognise these symptoms, call a doctor at once.
For information, call 0891 51 6000.
New Aquafresh Active with Actizan is different from all our other toothpastes. It works in 3 highly active ways. It fights 99% of harmful types of bacteria. It helps reduce plaque by up to 50%. And it makes gums up to 25% healthier than before. New Aquafresh Active. Active against bacteria. Active against plaque. Active to keep gums healthy.
The Thin Blue Line, the nation's defence against crime, highly trained in riot control. Will they be needed this weekend? Because the court sale with interest-free credit and massive savings on beds, furnishings, electricals and carpets starts 10 a.m. Boxing Day. Courts, take it easy.
It's big. It's the biggest sports sale ever in the UK. JJB and Sports Division have teamed up to bring you all the biggest sports brands at low, low prices. With big savings of Nike, Reebok, Adidas, Umbro and many more. It's the biggest sports sale the UK has ever seen. Now on at your local JJB and Sports Division stores.
MFI homework sale starts Boxing Day. Time to ring the changes in a rather uninspiring kitchen.
I can't see what's wrong with it.
And how would you know, eh?
By choosing this half-price Turin kitchen from the Hygiena range, Carol's got a dishwasher for under £100. But will it wash with Tony?
I could get used to this.
It's a miracle.
You'll love the change at the MFI homework sale.
With Vodafone, everyone enjoys low call rates at off-peak times. Whether you're a new or existing digital customer, you can benefit from our national inland off-peak rates from only 5p a minute. With a mobile phone network that values all its customers, new and existing, the word is Vodafone.
Christmas Day on ITV.
I'm your fairy godmother.
At the heart of good cheer,
The Emmerdale Christmas Special.
I'm moving out.
Merry Christmas! From now on, no more Mr. Nice Guy.
at the heart of good fortune. Who wants to be a Christmas millionaire? And at the heart of every single Christmas disaster ever, ITV. For Christmas, for you.
Still to come, the news from ITN, but first today's top regional story of this Christmas Eve.
Hello and welcome to Calendar this Thursday, the 24th of December. Coming up on the lunchtime news, little Connor's home for the Christmas his family feared he'd never see. And preparing for a busy night ahead, we meet Rudolph & Co. The parents of a baby who weighed just over a pound at birth are today preparing for the family Christmas they feared they'd never have. Little Connor Stafford from Mansfield was so tiny when he was born 4 months prematurely that his parents were told to prepare for the worst. Now, though, after a difficult year, his family are looking forward to a very special Christmas. Here's Calendar's Amanda Holmes.
At home in Mansfield today, little Connor Stafford is every bit the mischievous 10-month-old. But the weeks which followed his premature birth in February were a very different story. Then Connor weighed just over a pound. His parents, Mark and Hazel, were warned that their little boy may not survive.
It was really difficult because after I'd had Grant, I'd miscarried at 20 weeks as well. So we didn't know, well, I didn't know whether I could cope again. So we're really glad he's here.
Now Connor's family are looking forward to Christmas with the little boy they say is the best present they could have wished for.
Amanda Holmes with that report. Now there's some sound advice for anyone who's lucky enough to get an expensive Christmas present tomorrow. Police say it's vital that they're postcoded almost as soon as they're unwrapped. Christmas is a time when thieves are on the lookout for easy pickings. But police say more than half the stolen items they recover can't be identified and returned to their owners. Gail Mellors reports.
Thousands of pounds worth of stolen goods each year are auctioned off by police. This hoard of equipment has all been stolen from homes across South Yorkshire. But because the items are not marked, they can't be returned. Some will even end up back in the hands of thieves.
In some cases, unfortunately, and it's very frustrating that we actually have to hand property back to known offenders. Because we can't prove that it is stolen and we can't tie it down to particular offences.
With the festive period providing rich pickings for thieves, police are urging homeowners to record the serial numbers on their property or get their electrical goods marked with postcodes and house numbers.
The ultraviolet marker is actually recorded on there, and it's the postcode and house number that we require. That will actually help us to get equipment back to the rightful owner.
Postcoding may not prevent your worldly goods being stolen, but it's a very good way of improving the chances of them coming back to you.
And with that report from Gail Mellors, it's time for more of the day's news. Thank you, Katie. Now the news from the Calendar East News Desk. An inquiry is underway into the cause of a helicopter crash in which an army sergeant from Mansfield was killed. Sergeant David Kinsley was one of 2 British servicemen who died when their aircraft came down in a former minefield in Bosnia. It's not thought the linked helicopter had been fired on. Sergeant Kinsley leaves behind a widow and 3 young daughters. Arrangements will now be made to fly his body home. A driver's been arrested after a head-on collision which killed a man from Bridlington. The 57-year-old was one of 2 motorists who died in the crash on the A6 near Bakewell. His 2 passengers are in a critical condition in Chesterfield Royal Infirmary. 8 others are in hospital after cars collided with people who were trying to help the accident victims. Police in Lincolnshire have released a doctor after questioning him following a number of allegations of indecent assault. The complaints have all been made by patients at the Horncastle Medical Group surgery on Spilsby Road. Police say a man was arrested yesterday to help them with their inquiries and released on police bail. Meanwhile, the local health authority have issued a statement to say that Dr. Sir Christopher Duckham is no longer practising at the surgery. Police have criticised neighbours on a road in Skegness after the rotting body of a man was found. The man, who hasn't been named, had been dead for over 4 weeks at an address on Swallowfield Court. Officers were called to the flat when a relative phoned to say the man hadn't been heard from for a while. Neighbours had reported a smell to the Housing Association. Police say they're amazed that no further action was taken. A group of women who were staging a sit-in at an education centre in North Nottinghamshire are preparing to spend Christmas continuing their protests. They've been holed up at the centre in Worksop for 3 weeks. The protest started after councillors announced they wanted to stop using the building for female-only courses. The women are determined not to give in, even if it means spending Christmas Day away from their family and friends. More than 50 families in East Yorkshire have had a pre-Christmas bonus after a power cut at their local supermarket. Tills at the Safeway in Bridlington crashed when an electricity failure put the computerised system into chaos. Because of barcoding, most of the items weren't marked, so staff had to estimate the cost way below their real prices. And that's all from me for the moment. Now it's time to go back to Katie. Well, sports news now, and Leeds Tykes Rugby Union Club have been docked 4 points for playing Australian winger Wendell Sailor before he was registered. With more on that and football transfer speculation, here's Jason McCartney.
Sailor was not registered for the match against Rotherham on the 31st of October, and the Rugby Football Union punishment drops the Tykes into relegation trouble. Sailor has been in great form for the Tykes, scoring 11 tries in 9 games, and has helped them win their last 5 league matches. But Leeds are adamant they've done nothing wrong and will appeal.
All along the line we took professional and legal advice, and we were absolutely spot on in everything that we did. Now, of course, if the Rugby Football Union choose to ignore that, then they have in fact been in breach of their own regulations. But of course that will all be heard at the appeal.
Meanwhile, Wendell was training with the Leeds Rhinos this morning. He'll make his debut for them in the Boxing Day clash with Halifax Blue Sox. He's now also being linked with a move to Wasps Rugby Union side next season. Meanwhile, the other Tykes are set to lose one of their prize assets. Blackburn Rovers are set to meet the asking price of £5 million for Barnsley top scorer Ashley Ward. David Batty could be back for Leeds United to face his old club Newcastle at St James's Park on Boxing Day. Batty was back in training yesterday after breaking his ribs in his first game back at Elland Road. Meanwhile, David O'Leary is set to sell Lee Sharp to the Italian side Sampdoria. Some of that cash could then be spent on Pierre van Hooijdonk. Nottingham Forest say they'll now accept a lower offer for the troubled striker.
Jason McCartney reporting there. Now, as we all know, Father Christmas will be loading up his sleigh round about now, ready to deliver those millions of presents to children all around the world tonight. What perhaps you don't know is that Santa's flock of reindeer are, at this very moment, gearing themselves up for their big trip at Normanby Hall near Scunthorpe. This festive exclusive comes from Chris Kiddie.
Breakfast time for Rudolph & Co. at Normanby Hall, but Santa's little helpers aren't the only ones enjoying a Christmas Eve treat. As they say in football, Father Christmas has got a full squad to choose from. No injury worries here, as he prepares for his busiest night of the year.
We've got the bosses stuck all having the final breakfast before he comes to inspect him and sees which he's going to take with him this year. We've got about 80 for him to choose from, so I don't think he'll be disappointed. But he'll have a look at some of the younger ones for future years. It's youth policy of a football team sort of thing.
Funny, aren't they, reindeer? You can almost tell what they're thinking. I say, isn't that a chap with a camera over there? Where? There, look. Tell you what, if we just creep away, maybe he won't notice we've gone. Anyone know tonight's forecast? Looks like reindeer.
Now, just a quick reminder, don't forget to join us this afternoon for a very special party, the Calendar and Tonight Christmas Eve special. Mike, Krista and Christine have a full hour of entertainment, so try not to miss it. That's the Calendar and Tonight Christmas Eve party at 4 o'clock. And we're back with our next bulletin just before that starts. Until then, though, have a very nice afternoon. Goodbye.
ITV weather is sponsored by Yorkshire Electricity.
Hello there, good afternoon. Well, it was a bright but frosty start to the day for many parts of our region. It's all changed this afternoon. Let's start with a satellite picture. It obviously shows the clear skies that we enjoyed during this morning. Out to the west, though, we've had this bank of cloud moving in, which will produce outbreaks of rain across most parts during this afternoon. Most of them should be light and patchy, though. Temperatures will reach a high of around 8 Celsius, winds moderate or fresh and from the southwest. This evening then, with a great deal of change, I'm afraid it'll remain cloudy with further outbreaks of rain, followed by some more substantial rain as we go through into tonight. Having said that, most of these outbreaks will start to clear down towards the south as we go through tonight and certainly by tomorrow morning. The overnight low then down to 6 Celsius, winds fresh, maybe even strong at times, and from the southwest. Tomorrow then, well, it's another dry, bright and fairly sunny start to the day. As we go through into the afternoon, though, it will start to cloud over with further outbreaks of rain. There we go then. I wish you a very good afternoon and leave you today's summary.
The toxic
orange cloud.
We were in a burning plane 150 feet up in the air.
Hell hath no fury, a woman's thought.
She'd do anything to keep her child.
I wish the government just get their act together.
A community united in protest.
Scary.
Are they kissing?
To tell you that David just signed a 2.5-year contract.
Looking back over 1998, Calendar Review of the Year, Tuesday at 6:20, and Sports Review of the Year, Wednesday at 6:05 on Yorkshire.
From the studios of ITN, the new